But my encouragement is, at the very least, just get a little bit. Just get something. Just don't stay on zero. So if you do understand it, and you do understand this dynamic here that has just been explained here, I encourage you to buy like crazy to make money. You'll make a lot of money if you understand what you're buying here, and you hold it forever, and you have proper security, and you control your own keys. If you do this right, you can make a lot of money. You can get rich. But the important thing, the far more important thing, is to share the message with others, because you want to warn them, you care about them, and you want to help them lower their risk, because they have a diversified portfolio of assets that supply is trending towards infinity, and therefore their price or the exchange rate is going to continue to trend towards zero. And that's why I make this video personally, to see your own family, church, and anyone possible to get off zero. The more people and the more individuals that can get off zero before governments and larger institutions can get involved, the more distributed the network will be, the higher security of the network will be, and the more equitable it will be for everyone. Basically, when it comes down to it, I just want to see the transition costs be as painless as possible.
That's the one thing I don't like what he said in the video. He said you can get rich and make a lot of money. He is true. As far as like purchasing power of things, if you have some Bitcoin, you will, have a rich life. I don't like the way he said make money, because what he's saying is, and I think he's talking to people that are still stuck in the dollar fiat currency Ponzi scheme or paradigm shift or whatever, that he's saying, hey, you can trade in your Bitcoin for cash or whatever. I am never going to do that. I'm never going to sell my Bitcoin. All I'm going to do is use it. I'm keeping it for 6 to 10 years or however long it's going to take for global adoption. And I'm using it as a store of value right now. And then later on, I'm going to use it as a means of exchange. And again, my goal on this channel is to make sure that every viewer that I have gets off of zero and learns as much as they can, so they can pass on this incredible once-in-a-lifetime opportunity onto their loved ones. And I mean that. I can't say it any clearer.
And so, as you think about terms of risk, I encourage you to think of it as a form of insurance policy. And that basically, if you think of Bitcoin as fire insurance, as you divert capital away from open systems into this closed system, what you're basically doing is you're pouring kerosene on the house when you buy it. When you move energy, when you move economic energy away from open systems and into the closed system, away from the metaphorical planets and into the black hole, what you're doing is you're increasing the systemic risk of the system that's left. You're increasing the probability of default in bonds. And so basically, the more Bitcoin you buy, the lower you put yourself at risk, because you're taking risk off the table. You're moving capital out of an open system that's going to degrade as a function of time, and you're moving it into a system that is closed and thermodynamically sound. But as you do that, you put greater risk on everything else. So let's say, for example, you move 1% of your capital over to Bitcoin. All you've done now is, yes, you've decreased your total portfolio risk, but you've increased the risk of the remaining 99% of your portfolio. The decreasing risk of this 1% allocation outpaces the increased risk of this 99%, but you quickly realize that there's no reason to stop at just 1%, because all you're doing is increasing your risk. As you buy fire insurance, you're pouring kerosene on the fundamental risks of everything else you own. And this is why it will win. This is horribly misunderstood by people today. This is basically the realization that causes people to take very large percentage allocations of Bitcoin. I, at one point obviously had a 0% allocation to Bitcoin, and now today's a far higher allocation, and I hope for that allocation to only go up over time. And so this is why Bitcoin will win. It's in everyone's self-interest. The best way to decrease your risk against artificial intelligence and infinite amounts of energy and infinite amounts of gold being mined and infinite inflation and all these other factors, the best way for you to protect yourself is to allocate at least some percentage of your assets to a finite system. Everyone needs to preserve purchasing power in a monetary sense. Every company needs to arbitrage energy from a viewpoint of storing energy, but in both terms of electricity and capital. And every nation needs to have a brute force physical cost on other nations as a matter of national security, as a matter for political and economic interests, as a form of weapon. Bitcoin is all three of these. All three of these systems reinforce each other in a constant feedback loop. It is perfect game theory.
So what I suggest you guys do is buy as much Bitcoin as you are willing to put at risk. Okay, I'm not telling you to break the bank or nothing like that. Just put a couple bucks aside, because you're not gonna need much. Okay, and buy what you're comfortable with. And once you get comfortable with it and buy a little bit with it and use it and moving around and stuff, and you see how the technology works, then go ahead and buy yourself a self-custody it with a cold storage unit. This is a Trezor Model T, excuse me. This is a Ledger Nano X. These things right here, these are where I keep my passwords at. As a safety device, you got to have either a 12 or 24 word key phrase to get into that, so that you can get because your Bitcoin to be on the blockchain. But be your own bank, man, and keep educating yourself. And as your education level goes up and you feel more comfortable, hopefully this video helped you, then maybe you can buy a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let him finish off the video, and then I'm gonna come back and wrap it up.
And so my 5 practical steps I encourage you to take is, first, to get off zero. Again, even if you're just buying a few dollars worth, buy $10 worth, $50 worth, $100 worth, whatever you can, just get off zero, enough to at least protect yourself and to take an interest in starting to learn more. And make sure that you're storing your Bitcoin properly, and not in a place that is high risk. All it takes is a few large entities to get enough leverage to start transitioning. All it takes is a few more companies or a few countries to really get going and issuing infinite amount of stock, infinite amount of bonds, infinite amount of cash, and suck up the remaining Bitcoin on the market, like what I was discussing earlier. And then my second encouragement, to start thinking about this as soon as possible. Watch this video, take a look at what these folks like Michael Saylor, Samson Mow, or the hundreds of other Bitcoiners online have to say about this, and you can get really deep into the technical aspects of the system and understanding why everything that I'm describing here is the case. My encouragement is, don't be in the last 80% to start thinking, as you'll have to start anew in the new system. Again, think of the farmer to industry metaphor here. If you're a farmer that is in the early days moving away from farming into industry, you're going to have a lot easier time than the vast majority of people that wait until the very last second to move over. They are going to have the most challenges to face as they transition. And so my third encouragement would be, over time, once you've gotten to zero, once you continue to increase your understanding of the system transition here, that you eventually only own assets as a strategy to acquire more Bitcoin. And that sounds strange to people today, but that's basically what we're looking at here. Instead of the current world where you acquire as much cash as possible for the end goal of acquiring as many assets as possible, now we're transitioning to the world where the only reason to own assets is to increase the amount of money you have, or to hedge against Bitcoin on the probability of an incorrect assumption. So, and then also over time, increase your security, continue to remove your Bitcoin, other assets from exchanges, and just improve your general understanding of the topics. The fourth and perhaps the most important step, besides getting off zero, is to train your brain to transition to the new paradigm. Whenever we have new technology or new ways of thinking, brains take dozens, hundreds, even thousands of hours of training to think in the new framework of the new model, of the new system. Thinking of the world through the lens of the horse versus the lens of the locomotive are two entirely different worlds here. And so, if you focus on signal within the noise, you focus on what Bitcoin is doing and how Bitcoin is transforming technology and how technology is transforming the world, you can cut through the noise of news, headlines, and articles, and media, and fear, and doubt, and all these scary things that, is just trying to get your attention as the system continues to decline. Political polarization will go up, economic instability will increase, and chaos, unfortunately, will continue as the system degrades. The remaining powers within the current system will become more desperate to retain what diminishing influence they have left. It will almost certainly only get worse until the new system has superseded. Again, think of horses versus locomotives. As the locomotive begins to take economic precedence, all the incumbents, all the remaining powers of the horse, all the titans of industry in this dying industry are going to become more desperate and more reckless and more eager to get your attention and cause noise in the signal that is simply that the train is coming and it's causing a revolution. So I encourage you to just transition your brain to the new paradigm, and keep in mind Bitcoin will always be volatile. It's always going to alternate between ripping upwards and price spikes that will melt most people's faces off, and then crashing downwards forever that cause massive amounts of depression and pain in people. This is pretty much how it's exactly going to go. The idea of Bitcoin being a stable system that's going to be, or stable in terms of prices, that's going to be consistent with all these other assets, is simply not going to work, because all these other assets are all components of a system that is open versus a closed system. And again, I was speaking earlier, these inherently are going to be different. And so hearing the noise, the technological, hearing the signal of the shift that is Bitcoin cuts through the noise of the dying system. And so that's my biggest encouragement. Once you understand this, 95% of all the noise and all the chaos in the current world just fades away, because it makes so much more sense of what's really going on here. And then my fifth step is just to be thankful. A lot of people have regret that they didn't buy Bitcoin earlier, or it becomes clear to them that they should have been thinking about this critically earlier. And my encouragement is, be patient, it's okay, and be thankful. It takes time for people to understand. We want this transition to take a long period of time, but I know realistically it probably won't, but that's what I would prefer, even though that's probably not what's going to happen. It gives us as much time as possible before big players get involved and before Bitcoin gets on a major rally here. I'm happy, frankly, that Bitcoin is down in price and that it's not very popular right now. It gives me time to buy as much as possible. It gives me as much time as possible to warn people and encourage people to start learning about this. So at the end of the day, I encourage you, please get off zero for yourself and for your family. Share these ideas, share this video with your loved ones or others if that's making sense to you. Anyway, the best way to think about it is that, this horse is our current system. This is our current paradigm of, creating as much cash as possible to chase as many assets as possible, and basically leave one ship that's sinking quickly for an alternate ship that's sinking a little slower. And we think we're doing a good job because our horses are stronger or faster, or they're better looking, or whatever metric we value our horse by. We think that our system works all right. We think that we get around fast enough and that the world is sufficient. But the whole idea of Bitcoin here is that there is another system coming here, that if you're thinking within the horse, you aren't ready for the locomotive that's coming for it, and it's not even going to be a fight. You have this system of bonds and stocks and credit and debt and cash, and the world that we understand today, where we have a variety of open systems, and we diversify ourselves among these open systems. And now we have instead this closed system that is Bitcoin, and it's not even going to be a competition. It is there's nothing yet in human history to compare it to, this mechanical energy in comparison to this biological energy. And my encouragement is that you get off zero and understand that whether you like it or not, this is coming. Whether you like it or not, technology is just going to get faster. And the best way to prepare for it, the best way to prepare for an infinite world, is to buy some portion of a finite money that infinite world will be priced into. So please share this video with others, and as soon as possible, get off zero.
Love it. Love it. Get off zero, guys. This is a case of Engelhard bars. There's 20 of them. Last time I checked, they don't make any more of these, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? They don't make any more of those. All Engelhards. That's all I have now, The other stuff I have for sale, these are Engelhard rounds. Pull up another tube. Got these Engelhards over here. I was showing you earlier. These are Johnson Matthey bars. 10 ounce, 1 ounce, 100 ounce, Engelhard, Johnson Matthey, 96, 94 Eagles. These are some Johnson Matthey bars right here. This is probably my favorite Johnson Matthey. It's a little different. All right. I'm a silver addict, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love silver. You can never tell me to stop buying silver. My Bitcoiners try to, but they fail. Got some, you see the Silvertown bar? Again, they don't make those anymore. These are all Silvertowns. Okay. Got some more Inglehards over here. Buy things that are rare and hold them. You know what I mean? Again, cash is infinite. This stuff that I have here in front of you, the Bitcoin, all this stuff is finite. It just is. Right now, like I said, I use Bitcoin as a store of value. But in a few years, like I said before, I will be using it to transact in the digital age. It's very difficult to go through a paradigm shift, just like the industrial age and stuff like that, and the people that, went into the information age. We're transitioning over, but it takes a few years to do that, and we're in the middle of it. We don't even realize it. The AIs are coming. All these different things are coming, whether we like it or not. You know what I mean? And cash will be irrelevant. And the only thing that they'll be doing in the United States, because, if they don't do it, the dollar's going to hyperinflate, is they're going to go to the CBDCs. And if you guys been watching my channel, you already know I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to do it. And I'm using my freedom digital money in Bitcoin. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you like this. You watch this video, you do what you want with it. It's your life. You do whatever you want. But I'm going to tell you this in closing. It is not too late. You are so damn early, I can't even explain to you.
All the upside that people think they've missed out on and not going to get, there's more upside left in front of us than behind us. And when people understand that, they'll just buy Bitcoin and they'll avoid all the pain and misery of chasing altcoins, degenerate trading and gambling. And they can get on with effectively improving their life by just buying Bitcoin and being patient.
I bought in early 2021, right? The price of Bitcoin is in the high 40s going into the 50s, and I was buying. And it crashed down to now the 20s and something. They're giving it away right now. Many Bitcoin experts say this, and based on how much, money is in the system and how much money that can come into Bitcoin and stuff like that, the difference between 6 cents or a dollar or whatever Bitcoin used to be when it first started in comparison to 69 or 70,000 that it got up to almost, the difference between that price and that will be nothing in compare to what it is now and to the price will be in 6 to 10 years. And what I mean by price is the purchasing power of what you can get. Just like I divide everything by these precious metals. How many ounces of gas can I get with a jam bar? How many loaves of bread can I get with this Inglehard bar or whatever? You know what I mean? I don't measure it in dollars. I measure it in Satoshis and these rare ounces. I'm not going to tell you to sell your metals. I'm not going to tell you that, but get what you're comfortable with, like I said before. But get off zero, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help you. All right, I promise you, I'm walking with you. And I know you guys get annoyed by it. And I know I'm probably the only YouTube channel out here that does this, that combines the precious metals with the Bitcoin. But we're on the same team, ladies and gentlemen. We need each other. We need a digital money, and we have it. Don't ignore it because you love precious metals. You know what I mean? The same properties that you like about precious metals is the same thing that's in Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin is the hardest money in the world. It's permissionless. It can't be confiscated. It's a immutable ledger, scarce. And I'll get into that. I'm gonna make some videos this week. I'm gonna make a video. A lot of people think Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. That's funny. I'm gonna make a video addressing that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. So I really appreciate you guys watching so much. Leave me your thoughts, all right? Please, guys, in the comment section below. Do me a favor, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button, only if you like it. If you guys like my channel and my videos, go ahead and share it. Guys, I'm sharing stuff with you. This stuff is important, don't get me wrong. Showing all this silver on the table, everybody does that. But what's even more important is the information that you're getting today. Because each and every one of you learned something today. I know you did, because I've been stacking Bitcoin for 2 years, and I learned something watching that video. But again, knowledge is not power. It's applied knowledge. And you can do with this knowledge whatever you want. But if you decide to go forward and do your things, I don't make a dime off this. I don't have any links or all that. All I ask you to do is learn. Just like when I give a piece of silver away, I got 3 criterias. Learn what you got. If I give somebody this, I say, here, study what you got, tell people about it, and buy more. And I'm going to ask you to do the same thing with Bitcoin if you decide to go forward, all right? God bless you and your family. Again, thank you guys so much. I love each and every one of you, know that. Since I'm doing all this, guys, at least you guys can do is share my videos because it will really help. Because you guys already know sharing is caring. And you guys also know I love you very much. You know that. Guys, I could be doing a lot more things than taking this time. It takes me hours to make these videos, man. It really does. And I just would appreciate it. If you don't want to share my video or do nothing like that, I don't even care about that. Just do me a favor and get off of zero. Study what you got and tell more people about it. And I promise you, man, it'll change your life and your family's life, all right? God bless you and yours. God bless this country. God bless this country. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.